Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and this is actually my second time recording this video because I managed to omit some information accidentally while I was recording it the first time that I really wanted to touch on. I did not have my notebook, and actually my notebook is still not where it needs to be. It's over there, but my battery is about to die and I don't feel like going back upstairs to get the charger and charge it before I record this video. So we're just going to go on with it is like it is, and I'm going to hope that the battery doesn't die before I finish, which will help if I stop rambling. So, this is my March wrap-up. I did not read a lot in March. I spent a lot of time in March coloring because March was a very difficult month emotionally, and so yeah, coloring helped that more than reading did this time. It waxes and wanes. Sometimes crocheting helps more than coloring or reading. Sometimes it's something else, but this time it was coloring that helped more than crocheting or reading and allowed me to just stop thinking and enjoy what I was doing. So in light of that, I only read 2 2/3 of a book in the month of March, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's a regular reading month, really. For me, I've been on this like super reading kick that was doomed to failure or to end at some point, and lo and behold, it has ended. So, the first book that I finished in March was Daughters. I actually started reading this, Daughters by Paul Marshall. I actually started reading this in February, and that's when the emotional downward spiral began, and I put it aside so that I would not like it just because I was in a bad space. I do have a review of this that I have yet to edit because I've been in a bad place. But when I upload that, check that out, and that will have more about my thoughts on this novel. The next book that I read was an audiobook, which was City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, the 6th book in the Mortal Instruments series, and all I can say is that I am glad that I finished the series. That's one of the things that was on my list of goals for 2017, was to finish as many of the series that I've started as I possibly could this year, and so that is the series to check off the list. I liked the Infernal Devices series more than the Mortal Instruments series, and probably more so because it stuck to 3 books. The Mortal Instruments series could have stuck to 3 books, and it would have been just fine. Just saying. The next book that I read was, the last book that I read was The Natural History of Dragons, a memoir of Lady Trent by Marie Brennan. That is a long-ass title. Whew! I thoroughly enjoyed this. I was a little worried that I was not going to enjoy it as much as some other people did, simply because it's been so hyped up, and the reason why I bought it, this is actually a scratch and dent copy that I ordered from Book Outlet, but the reason why I bought it was because I'd heard so much about it, and so I wanted to check it out, and Book Outlet's prices are just like right all the time. So I got it, and like I said, I really enjoyed this. I did have to remind myself, now mind you, I don't read a lot of nonfiction, so me saying this probably would not mean a hill of beans to those of you who do read nonfiction consistently. I kept forgetting that Lady Trent was not a real character because of the way that the story is written. It really read like you're sitting in a room talking with somebody, and they're just telling you their life story, and they're telling it to you in an engaging way where you want to know what they're talking about. It's not like Grandpa Simpson's rambles. It's coherent, and it actually put me in the mindset of the beginning and ending of Ever After, where it's Drew Barrymore's character's great-granddaughter who's telling the story, and she's old as she's telling the story to the Brothers Grimm, and how like calming her voice was, and the way that she talked in that little bit of movie that she was in, it made that much of an impact, and that is kind of how I felt as I was reading this story. Thank goodness for the element of dragons, because were it not for that, I would have been so confused and confuzzled in thinking that Lady Trent was a real person, and that the people in this story who she makes so relatable and believable, Marie Brennan, make so relatable and believable. They all come across as real people, and that is, I think, is a major accomplishment in a novel. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to reading the others. I had this great idea that March was going to be Marie March, and I was going to read all of the books that I own by Marie Brennan, which at this point are 5, and I was like, that would be a good way to go about the reading month. And then I found out that the book I wanted to start with, which is called A Star Shall Fall, is actually the 3rd book in a series, and I don't own books 1 and 2, but thankfully they are available on Overdrive, so I will get to those eventually. But yeah, this is what I started with reading Marie Brennan, and this was a good experience. The other things that I did this month, I'm not going to show the coloring and everything. If you're interested in seeing what I colored or some of the pictures that I colored this month, you can check out my Instagram page. That's where I post all of that. This is not going to be a coloring channel or anything. I did buy some coloring books this month, but again, check Instagram because it's all there. The other thing that I did this month aside from reading and coloring was watching movies and series on Netflix. I have forever been and will forever be a Marvel girl. The only DC comic character that I really liked as a kid was Batman. Yeah, that was it. I have always been a Marvel girl, and I will be forever and ever. I watched Luke Cage on Netflix, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I actually delayed in watching it again because it was so hyped up, and I didn't want to watch it and be disappointed, and it was one of those nights where I couldn't sleep and I couldn't settle my brain, and so I just decided to start watching it, and I watched 6 episodes that first night, and I started watching them after 11 o'clock. I didn't go to bed till almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was worth every minute of it. So thoroughly enjoyed that. Can't wait for season 2 to start, and I think this month I'm going to start watching either Jessica Jones or Iron Fist, or both, because I want to now watch them all. Now that Luke Cage has opened the doorway that these Netflix series don't suck. So now I want to watch them all because they're supposed to be coming together in a Netflix compilation series called The Defenders. And so I want to be completely caught up on the individual episodes or the individual series, so that when that starts, I know where everybody is and what's going on. So thoroughly enjoyed that. Then I also went to go see 2 movies. I went to see Logan, which had me bawling in the theater. Wolverine has always been bae and will always be bae. I am a little offended by the way that the story went, and I'm not going to tell what that is in case you haven't seen the movie. If you have seen the movie, you can certainly talk to me about that in the comments below. I love talking about Wolverine and the X-Men and Professor X, all of that, with other fans. So I open the door for you to discuss that with me in the comments below if you're interested in doing so. But I really enjoyed the movie, and as difficult as it was, and I have not read the comic series, the Death of Old Man Logan or the Death of Wolverine, but now I do want to read the new Wolverine series, so I got to read all of that so that I can be caught up. I just stopped reading Wolverine when I found out where the track was going. I was not happy about it, but I can accept it to a certain extent now because there's always the older volumes that I can return to, even though I will have to repurchase them again because they disappeared when I was a kid, like the ones from the 80s that I had as a kid. So I am really rambling. Battery is still going, so we're going to keep it moving. I also went to go see Beauty and the Beast, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I have said for years that Belle is my least favorite Disney princess, but the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks, and I still hold true to that. I've actually seen the musical 3 times. I've watched the movie I don't know how many times, but in my experience of seeing the musical, 2 of the 3 Belles that I saw, I did not like their voices. The first one I saw when I was in high school, it was, she was horrible. And I was offended, but so happy that the tickets were free because my dad got free tickets for us to go see it. and box seat tickets, so it was a good experience as far as that goes, and we had a free dinner beforehand, so it was good as far as that goes, and then spending time with my dad. But that bell was absolutely horrible. Oh my gosh, it put such a sour taste in my mouth for going to see that as a musical again. And then I went to see it when it came to my town, and that entire production, and there were songs that were added to the musical before since I went to see it the first time, and everything. And you know, because when you go see musicals, okay, I'm gonna stop. But when you go see musicals on tour, that are on tour, you don't actually see them in New York. The tour cast sometimes does not get all of the props that they should get, because everybody thinks that since they're the tour cast and they're not actually performing on Broadway, or they didn't make the Broadway cast. Some of them actually did make the Broadway cast, and people don't know that until they read the bios. But who reads the bios? Me. Anyway, you think that it's a subpar production versus what was actually on Broadway, and that's not the case. And the tour company who did the Beauty and the Beast that came to my town were phenomenal. Oh my gosh. So I actually did a blog post about that when I kept up my blog, which I don't keep up anymore. But anyway, and then the third one that I went to see, I didn't like the bell, but I loved the Beast. And I didn't like that Gaston either, because there's a section in the mob song that Gaston really has to like sell it, and he didn't. So going to see the movie, I was a little nervous about going to see it, because I'd never heard Emma Watson sing. I'm not a fan of her voice, but I was able to get past that as the movie went along. And I actually like what they did as far as the score goes, with keeping the songs in the actual key, however not having her straining, and so adjusting the notes in the song so that she could hit them and do them correctly, and like support them properly, so that it did not sound awful, but keeping the song in the original key for the movie. I like that. I'm sorry, I just totally went into musical Tati Stan. But anyway, I was floored by Gaston. Absolutely taken aback, because one of the things that I pride myself on is knowing what other movie stars have done. Like what I used to do when I couldn't sleep was I would go through IMDb and play like 6 Degrees of Separation with actors and their films, and it's a long story. I'm not going to tell it here. But I did not know that Bard the Bobin and Dracula had a voice, and his voice is great. And I had not seen the character, the guy who played the Beast, in anything else. I liked his voice, his song. There are added songs to the movie that are not in the Disney movie and not in the musical. And there's an added verse to the mob song, which is my favorite song, because the villains have the best songs, hands down. But there's an added verse to the mob song so that Josh Gad can have his verse. There's a part of the Gaston song that is taken out. That's actually one of my favorite parts in the movie and the musical, but I did not really miss it because I just thought about it as I was sitting down to record this video. So the fact that I'm just thinking about it, and I saw the movie 2 weeks ago, lets you know that it's not a hole that's in the story at all. If you have not seen it, I would really suggest that you go see it. I did not see it in 3D. However, my friend, after we went to see it, the only thing that she kept saying was, I want to go see it in 3D now. I do want the necklace that Emma Watson had on during the dance scene. That necklace was gorgeous. I want it. So, okay, I'm going to stop. My battery is like the best friend right now because it is still going. My camera's still going. That's all that I'm going to say for this wrap-up. If you are still here, thank you. That means that you liked something that you saw, or you liked watching me ramble. Thanks. Again, talk to me in the comments below about anything in this wrap-up that you're interested in discussing further. And if you liked this video and you stuck through to the end to hear me say, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. Do so. And have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.